Good morning, group. It's Friday. So exciting about Friday. So we were talking yesterday about training and how to do a proper training program. And of course, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and thought, maybe I should teach them about yoga too, because maybe they're missing out on the finer points of yoga. So I thought, let's do a video to understand why you may be missing out on the true benefits of yoga and what are they. Of course, I have a list. I'm like loving my whiteboard again. So I made my little list so we didn't forget a bunch of stuff. One of the things about yoga is that people miss is that they're not connected, right? So when you talk about, I'm going to check them off as we go. Where am I going to put this? I'm not going to put it anywhere. I'm going to leave it right there. Okay. So when you talk about being in yoga and you talk about what are the benefits, the whole point behind yoga is being connected with your breath, being connected with your body. Now, there's multiple things and multiple factors that will go on if you're not loving your yoga and or whatever the case, or you're not benefiting from your yoga. There's multiple reasons why you're not. So, you know, I watched a friend of mine who told me she knew how to teach yoga. She did a live video on her page, and I'm not going to say names because I don't want to bash anybody, but she just went through the motions. And it was all this athletic stuff. And it was just like pose from pose to pose. Like training programs, your yoga has a system and a sequence in order for it to go together. Whether you're looking to open the shoulders, if you're looking to open the hips, if you're looking to elongate the back, if you're looking just to do, reconstructive, if you're looking to just do a meditative, if you're looking for, right, there's so many different styles of yoga. So one of the other reasons I wrote down why you may be missing out on the benefits of your yoga, you may be doing the wrong style and have the wrong teacher. I've had people, I can't connect with them, they can't connect with me. I've shipped them off to either another yoga instructor or another class when I was teaching classes. And that's okay. Because the whole point of, even for myself as an instructor, is for you to get the most benefit and the maximum amount of benefit from your yoga practice. Right? So and people forget, and here's my other tip is Instagram. Yoga isn't Instagram. Yoga isn't headstands and inversions and all of that fun things. When I started my yoga, oh my God, so many years ago, but I was racing triathlons back then, and I did yoga because I needed to relax and release my muscles. So people say to me, it was like, oh, I want you to do my yoga where you can stretch me and stuff. That's not it. You want athletic stretching. That's a completely different thing. FYI. The whole point to yoga is to calm the central nervous system, teach your body to slow down, teach your body to actually deal with the stress, the anxiety, and everything that goes along with PTSD, anxiety, and everything else. So things that I did not know way back when, before all the schooling I had, was my inflammatory bowel and gut issues, leaky gut, whole bit. It sounds gross, but it is. But it's not. It's just most people who have high stress, and they're running in this like fight or flight mode all the time, which then gives off all those stress hormones, which then flood the body constantly because your body and your brain are constantly on, which then leads to adrenal fatigue, which then leads to, every other inflammatory autoimmune disease going. So I've had clients get off their high blood pressure medication. I've had clients reverse their inflammatory bowel, their like IBS. I've had people with diet changes and yoga reverse their diet, like type 2 diabetes. These are the things about being connected. These are the things about it starts with your breath, and it starts you learning how to calm down. Now, there has been times in my world where I just started with the yin yoga, because I also teach that one. When I came off from my spinal surgery, so, they reconstructed my neck with plates and bolts, my yoga wasn't like anything other than getting on the mat and focusing on how to expand my rib cage and breathe and then release. So what happens too is if you have surgery and you've had stuff, why can't I think of the word? Oh my God, it'll come to me. So what happens is everything in the ribs shortens, right? So the intercostals and the ligaments and all that stuff. So you have to breathe it out. You have to open it up. So my yoga was just that. It was on the floor, learning how to breathe into the belly and the lower portion of the lung, right? And then you just systematically go from there to like some, opening exercises to open the chest, release the shoulders, then opening the hips, and then elongating the back, like I talked about. The other time was after my son died, and my yoga for a year was about me getting on the mat and just lying there and breathing. That was my yoga for just about 13 months, because that's all I could do. That's all my body could do. The stress responses for my body were too much. It was a reconnection of myself, my breath and myself. And that's the part that people are missing when they're doing their yoga. So also finding like the right style. So that was actually one of the reasons why I took my training for the yin yoga and the restorative. So if you're in a point where you need to, fix some injuries, or your stress levels are too high, you find that your PTSD is flaring, your anxiety is flaring, those are things you need to look at, which then comes down to my next point is yoga is not a sport. It's just not. You want to do a sport, and that's all great. And that can be all aggressive, and that can be all in, and that can be really amazing on its own behalf, because it changes what your body is doing, and you're building endurance and strength, and you're having some fun. Okay, but yoga's not a sport. So these are one of the things, if you think that that's what that's about, you're missing the essence of that. Oh yeah, be kind to yourself, right? Like, I think we get a little bit caught up with the Instagram posts and YouTube, and all these teachers think it's so great to show nothing but how to do a headstand. I will tell you something. I've done a headstand twice because I had to do it twice to get my certification. That's it. That's all she wrote. I also have degenerative disc disease, which I didn't find out until I was 40, hence the surgical spinal surgery. You may not know what's going on in your body. Doing a headstand is not the be all end all. Maybe your style of yoga is just the restorative or yin. So yin yoga is something to allow the joints to open and the muscles to relax and just like let the whole body open. And you may do 4 to 7 postures in that hour because you're allowing the body to release. Listen, when we're dealing with PTSD and anxiety, you have a lot of stress hormone that your body becomes accustomed to. So if you don't have it, you're creating that a little bit. So you need something to counterbalance to bring the body back down. The other point, my last point, was you started in too far, right? So same with the training. If you started here in your training and you're failing because you missed all the building blocks, your yoga's the same way. Now, I tend to adapt. I do. I adapt my yoga for the person I'm training. Sometimes people want to talk through that because that's relaxing to them. I will not lie, when I teach online and I'm at home, sometimes I have a gin and tonic while I'm teaching because I'm at home and I'm not doing it. I'm just instructing. And that's a fact. And I'm okay with that. So, listen, some people wouldn't. Some of my clients, they don't really care. And it's all fine. But there's a balance of knowing where you need to start with your yoga so that it works for you. If you're hating your yoga, I guarantee you have the wrong style, wrong teacher, and you've started in too far, you've missed the fundamentals. The fundamentals of yoga is to calm the fuck down, right? Like, you just need to breathe. You need to get in touch with yourself, and this is one of the last things, and I didn't have it on my list, but for a lot of people, if you're in that wrong style of yoga and that calmness triggers you, you need to explore that. You need to look at why. You need to also move out of that yoga for a little while, right? So do something a little bit different instead of, because you don't want your yoga triggering you. You want to be able to go, okay, what's going on in my body? Why is my brain reacting this way? Because you don't know what's going to happen. Because the second we start to slow down and see what's inside, all of a sudden stuff comes up. So, maybe change that. But listen, it's not about headstands and inversions and backbends and funky ass, like, get our leg up behind our head kind of thing, which I've stopped doing a long time ago because I'm 52 and I don't want to, right? I like my yoga. I do some aggressive stuff because I teach Ashtanga as well. Helps build a lot of great core strength. If you're doing it right with the right technique and the right breath, you can strengthen the abdominal wall. Because when you hold that in, holding the Uddiyana Bandha, which is part of it, and breathing, so how do I explain this? So if you're pulling, right, from here in, and then from the sternum to the pubis bone in, so we're locking it in this way, and it's like you've drawn the belly button in, you hold that, and then take a deep breath. That will help strengthen your abdominal wall, which is what we want. It's not about a six-pack. If you've got it, thumbs up. Never going to have it myself. Just don't have the genetics for it, or airbrushing. So these are things to help strengthen women. If you're doing any sort of hip lift or any work that way, the pelvic floor. Because for women it's a thing, and it seems to get weak as we get older, and nobody wants to have that. Nobody wants to pee your pants when you're laughing. I never experienced that once. Man, it was not even funny. I sneezed twice in the kitchen, and all of a sudden I was like, I peed a little. I was like, oh my God. So I had to like redo and change my yoga a little bit and change my training so that I strengthened everything down there and there. Sorry guys. Mostly there's women in the group, so we're going to talk about it. So these are some of the things that you're looking at. So reasons why you may not love your yoga and why you're failing is you're not connected to it, because we're going to look at the breath. Be connected to your body. Listen to your body. If it's telling you no, there's a reason, right? So back out of something. You're doing the wrong style or you have the wrong teacher. Teachers should always be able to look at you, and especially because I do a lot of one-on-one, so I can watch my client very, very closely, and I design the yoga specifically for their needs, their body, their temperament, their everything. Everything is specific in my one-on-one yoga. Instagram's not a thing. Stop following it. That's not cool. And then you want to make sure that, it's not a sport. If you just want athletic stretching, that's a completely different thing. And you're missing the essence of it. Also, remember to be kind to yourself. And then think about the level that you started. So those are the 5. 6? 6. I can't count today. I'm having a little bit of it's really hot yesterday. So those are the 6 things you want to look at if you're looking to make a change and advance your yoga. And I really do recommend, I can't strongly, I love yoga. I really love yoga. I also love my running. I also love weightlifting. I also love, outdoor sports. I also love the swimming, but I like aggressive sports too. But listen, I find that balance brings a balance to your body. And if you're having problems with your stability, then you can do some easy postures in yoga for balance, and then increase your balance, right? And then you get better at it, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be like 70 and falling down and breaking a hip because I couldn't stabilize myself. That would be so uncool. That's one of the other reasons why I stick with my yoga, so that I won't fall down. Guys, that's my video for today. I hope you have a wonderful Friday. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. If you're catching me live, please put a live or hashtag replay. And if there's something that you want to learn, and as we adapt and I show you guys a bigger, more holistic and healthy lifestyle to conquer our PTSD and anxiety and, you know, manage all of our symptoms on a day-to-day level, this is what this is all about. So if you have something to ask, please do so. But on that note, I'm out.